So now in the final part of this tutorial, I'm going to import the new texture for the Cheerios box into the UV editor of Blender there. So there it is. Doesn't fit the UV map perfectly, but of course I'm going to fix that. You can see it's a few millimeters off there. So I just selected all the vertices using the right click for that top edge of the front and back side and the right side and pulled them up. But the left side is too long on the bottom, so I have to pull that down separately, again by selecting those two bottom vertices using the right click and using the translate. To reiterate what I said in an earlier video, when you click the translate button, your mouse immediately becomes attached to whatever you selected on the UV map. So you don't then move the mouse into the picture, so to speak, to adjust. It immediately gets hooked up. So there's one more vertex on the left that has to be moved in to match the texture. I'm going to export this UV layout again so that I can update the XCF file, just for the sake of order. But first I have to get it lined up correctly here. So then the right side still doesn't fit, if you notice there. So I have to select both of the vertices using right click, and then the translate button, and it pulled it right up. And notice it overlaps the label, so that will have to be fixed in Gimp when I fix the XCF file. It won't actually appear on the model though, because the right side texture overlaps with it, because it's on a higher level. It's not even relevant to this editor actually, because I can't affect the layers of the old XCF file if I'm working in a Targa that's been imported into the UV editor of Blender. So now everything more or less fits. I'm going to take a look here at the top and at the bottom just to be sure, but these were much cleaner originally. So then if we go back to the 3D view, we display the textures there, and there's our completed model more or less. Pretty much done. So from here, all that's left to be done is to clean up that XCF file, because other than the fact the finish on the materials here is not matte, that's more or less the way I wanted it to look. Now there I go to perspective view. Still looks great in perspective view. Now one detail that I should add is that materials will have to be added to this. So first I'll save this as the new improved version of the box. It's closer to finished. 101. Save that. And then to get to the materials here, first of all I have to export this layout to a new layout file. And that will be put in the XCF file. When I fix the Targa, that will go on to the materials. So really, before I address the materials, I'm going to clean up the XCF file in Gimp here. So again, same routine as before. I go into the layout file. I change it to two-tone white, the way I like it, using the levels tool and the paint bucket tool. Then I open the XCF file. I select all and I clear the old layout, and then I paste the new layout that I copied from the layout file from Blender. Now I'm going to move the labels. Notice I have the labels layer selected over on the right there. That's very important. You have to understand what layer you're working on. So then I save, and then I kill the transparency and the markings layer. I export to Targa, and now here I am back in Blender to create my materials. Now sometimes it helps to enlarge the tools over on the far right there. So I've selected the materials there, the little atomic symbol, created a new material. Then I jump to the checker button there to add a texture to that material. So I select the Targa there. That's the correct file name. I actually exported the incorrect file name earlier in Gimp, but then later fixed it. Now I save again, and this is version 102 because it has the materials in it. And now this can be used for a variety of purposes. And I essentially have a complete model, so that's it. It's really as simple as that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.